Hola, bienvenidos a Aprendamos Español 2. Yo soy el Dr. Daniel Viamonte, su maestro de Español 2, y junto con su facilitador vamos a terminar lección 3 de unidad 2. ¿Recuerdan ustedes lo que hicimos la última vez? Now, the last time, la última vez, we talked about the environment. We used equal comparisons and unequal comparisons in Spanish. We took a look on superlatives, using ísimo as a way of identifying the superlatives. In our audio story, Para Empezar, we listened to a Bolivian myth. Escuchamos un cuento boliviano. We took a look at some mathematical word problems. Simple as they were, it's important to be able to read math problems. We took a look at numbers. We went all the way up to 1 million. And finally, we reviewed the vocabulary del cuaderno. We assigned homework. Homework number 1 in Dime Dos. We want you to practice by doing Activity C, page 99, 1 through 8. Activity D on page 100, 1 through 8. And Activity E, page 100, also 1 through 8. The second homework was in your cuaderno, Activity A, page 21. We wanted you to write out 1 through 6. If you'll take out that homework now, please, and facilitator, would you please collect this week's homework? Thank you. Hoy vamos a aprender el reporte del tiempo con importante vocabulario. We're going to talk about weather reporting and review some of the important vocabulary used in weather forecasting. In many Spanish countries, when you want to know the temperature, they're going to give it to you in Celsius. So we're going to take a look at Celsius versus Fahrenheit. We also want to give you some additional information about South American countries, información sobre países de Sudamérica, and repaso del pretérito. We want to review some more of the preterite. Now, I'm sure almost every one of you at some time or another have watched a weather forecast on television. Well, today we're going to take a look at what kind of vocabulary, significant vocabulary, would you use in weather forecasting using Spanish terms. So we're going to label this el reporte del tiempo. Our first term today is altamente. Altamente. Highly. We might use this when we're saying it's highly probable. Altamente. Aviso, aviso, an advisory, aviso, calor, calor. Here in Texas, we know what calor means in the summer. It is hot. Centímetro, centimeter, centímetro. Chaparrón, downpour. Chaparrón. Chubasco, a squall or also a downpour. Chubasco. Chaparrón, chubasco. Ciclón, ciclón. Cyclone. Desconocido, desconocido. Unknown, desconocido. disperso, disperso, scattered, despejado, cloudless, despejado. If it's coming from the east, you would say este, este. Fresco, cool, fresco. Frío, frío, cold. Granizada, hailstorm. Granizada, granizo, granizo, hail or sleet. Granizada, granizo. Huracán, huracán, hurricane. Kilómetro, kilómetro, kilometer, kilómetro. Humedad, humedad, humidity. Leve, leve, light. Lluvia, lluvia, rain. Lluvia. Mapa, mapa, map. Mayormente, mayormente, mostly. Metro, meter. Metro, milla, milla, mile. Máximo, máximo, maximum. Mínimo, mínimo, minimum. Nieve, nieve, snow. Norte, norte, north. Nublado, nublado, cloudy. Occidente, west, occidente, or you can say oeste, oeste, occidente, oeste, oriente, east, oriente, east. Parcialmente, parcialmente, partly. Pie, foot, pie. Posibilidad, posibilidad, possibility, possibility, posibilidad. Precipitación, precipitación, precipitation, precipitación. Presión. Presión. Air pressure. Presión. Pronóstico. Pronóstico. Forecast. Pronóstico. Pulgada. Pulgada. Inch. Pulgada. Rocío. Rocío. Dew. Rocío. Satélite. Satélite. Satellite. Satélite. Sol. Sol. Sun. Sur. Sur. South. Temperatura. Temperatura. Temperature. Temperatura. Tiempo. Tiempo. Now it can mean weather. ¿Cómo está el tiempo? How's the weather? But you know it also means time. Tiempo. Ventisca. Ventisca. Snowstorm. Ventisca. Visibilidad. Visibilidad. Visibility. Visibilidad. Viento. Viento. Wind. Viento. Vientos helados. Vientos helados. Wind chill. If you get a chance, we'd like you to watch on the Spanish television stations a weather forecast. I think you'll recognize many of the words that we just reviewed. Those words are designed to help you understand exactly what type of weather we're going to have in our prediction. Remember that in weather forecasting, it really is just that. It's a prediction. Sometimes it's right, and sometimes it's wrong. Now, when we go to a Spanish-speaking country and you ask for the temperature, don't be surprised if it's going to seem cold to you. And the reason is that the temperature is always given in Celsius in most Spanish-speaking countries. Here in the United States, we use Fahrenheit. I think it's important that we understand the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit. I'd like to give you some common reference points. As we can see on this graph, there is a reference point where Fahrenheit and Celsius are the same. They are the same at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's equal to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Here we see the freezing point 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's when water converts to ice, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But in Celsius, the thermometer will read 0. So 0 is where there is freezing of water at sea level. 32 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 0 degrees Celsius. On this chart, we're looking at normal body temperature of a human being. On the Fahrenheit thermometer, we normally say that 98.6 degrees is normal human body temperature Fahrenheit. On the Celsius thermometer, it would read 37 degrees Celsius. So when the weather outside is 98.6 degrees in the summer, the Celsius would read 37 degrees. Another common reference point is the boiling point of water at sea level. On Fahrenheit, that temperature is 212 degrees. On the Celsius thermometer, it would be 100 degrees. So in the summer, here in the Texas area, 100 degrees is a temperature that is often reached in Fahrenheit. But you and I hope we'll never reach it in Celsius. Because if on the Celsius thermometer it said 100 degrees, our water would be boiling. In the United States, as I said, we tend to use Fahrenheit mainly. In the Spanish-speaking countries, they tend to use Celsius. If you want a more exact conversion, you can use some formulas. When we begin to use these formulas, you're going to see capital T, small c. Well, that's going to tell you that the temperature is going to be converted into degrees Celsius. When you see the big capital T and the small f, the temperature is going to be converted into Fahrenheit degrees. Now let's take a look at the formulas. When we look at the formula, the / means to divide. The asterisk means we're going to multiply. The minus sign means we're going to subtract. The plus means to add. And the equal sign means to equal. So to convert a Fahrenheit temperature into degrees Celsius, the formula will read the temperature in Celsius is equal to 5/9 times the temperature in Fahrenheit minus 32 degrees. If you'll take a moment and write down this formula, I think we'll have some examples later on that you'll be able to use these. By the way, when we work these formulas out, you can use a calculator if you wish. You don't have to do these in your head if you choose not to. So let's convert a Fahrenheit temperature to Celsius. Let's assume that we know that the temperature is 98.6. So in order to get the temperature in Celsius, we want to multiply 5/9 times, and then we have to subtract 32 degrees from 98.6. So we have 66.6 times 5/9. When you do the math, you'll discover that the temperature Celsius is equal to 37. Remember on the graph, it told us that 98.6 was 37. But you could calculate it without looking at the graph. 37 degrees Celsius. Don't forget that you have to tell us whether it represents degrees in Celsius or Fahrenheit degrees. In this case, we knew we were looking for Celsius degrees. Now, to convert a Celsius temperature into degrees, Fahrenheit is calculated by the temperature in Fahrenheit is equal to Now we invert the number. Instead of 5/9, it's 9/5 times whatever the temperature in Celsius was, and then we add 32 degrees. So let's see if we can work this out. Let's assume that the temperature in Celsius is 100 degrees. Yes, I know you remember from the chart that 100 degrees Celsius is equivalent to the boiling point of water, and so that should be 212 degrees Fahrenheit. But let's work out the math and see if it is 212 degrees. So here we're looking at 180 plus 32. That's 212. Now, how did I get the 180? I took 9/5 of 100, right? 5 goes into 100 20 times, and 20 times 9 is 180, and then I have to add my 32 degrees. And that should give me 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So you see, that chart was correct, but I could figure it out mathematically without looking at the chart. You won't always have a chart with you. Let's take a look at another method of doing it. You can add 40 to whatever the number is. You can multiply by 5/9 or 9/5, just like the old method, and then subtract the 40. Now we're doing this because we knew that at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit was equal to, yes, minus 40 Celsius. If you want to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, use the fraction 5/9. Fahrenheit to Celsius, use fraction 5/9. If you want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, then use the other, which is clearly not a fraction. 9/5 is more than 1, so it's more than a fraction. So let's take a look at 98.6 Fahrenheit and 37 degrees Celsius we know are equal. To convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, 98.6 plus 40 equals 138.6. Now I take 138.6 and I multiply that by 5/9, and it equals 77. Subtract 40 from 77, and voila, I have 37 degrees Celsius. It's just another way of calculating the temperature. Trust me, once you do these 4, 5, 6 times, it'll become real easy. I can guarantee you that people in Spanish-speaking countries don't spend a great deal of time converting Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius. And you'll be able to do that too. To convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, we have 37 degrees Celsius. I'm going to add 40. Again, that gives me 77. I'm going to multiply that by 9/5, and that's going to equal 138.6. I subtract 40, and there I have 98.6 Fahrenheit. So you see, you can do it either way. Of particular note, we want you to realize that the Celsius temperature scale is sometimes referred to as the centigrade scale. Now, centigrade means consisting of or divided into 100 degrees. So sometimes you could hear Celsius, sometimes you hear people use centigrade. Now, the Celsius scale was devised by Swedish astronomer Andres Celsius. 1701 to 1744, for scientific purposes. The Celsius scale has 100 degrees between the freezing point, 0 degrees Celsius, and the boiling point, 100 degrees Celsius, of pure water at sea level air pressure. The term Celsius was adopted in 1948 by an international conference on weights and measures, and it's used in many, many countries. Now that's a lot of material to absorb. Some of you will get really good at converting Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius into Fahrenheit. Now we'd like you to practice. If you'll take a look, please, at the screen, I want to assign homework number 1. In your cuaderno, on page 25, activity A. Now, on page 25, you'll see a map of the United States, and it will have listed these cities: Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Los Angeles, and Seattle. And it'll give you a little graphic representation as to what the weather is in those cities. But in addition to letting me know what the weather is, what is your forecast for Atlanta, I also want you to convert the Fahrenheit temperature into Celsius. So you're going to give me 2 things for each of these cities. What is the forecast? Cloudy, rainy, snowy, fair, partly cloudy, windy, whatever. But I also want you to take the Fahrenheit temperature and convert it into Celsius degrees. That's in your cuaderno, page 25, activity A. Today, in a lot of homes and in a lot of schools and a lot of classrooms, you will see computers. I'd like you to go in your cuaderno to page 27. On page 27, I want you to complete for TAREA número 2, for homework number 2, activity D, 1 through 5, on page 27. This is basic information about computers. These are the terms that most of us will use when talking about different aspects of our computer. El modem, el impresora, parlantes, audífonos y monitor de color. Do you remember when we reviewed the 20 Spanish-speaking countries, their capitals, and their nationalities, that we also told you what continent they were on? I'd like to talk a little bit about cosas típicas de Sudamérica, typical things in South America. First, let's take a look at the world continent size. It is the 4th largest continent on the planet Earth. It consists of approximately 6,900,000 square miles. It has an estimated population of 314 million inhabitants. The largest city is in São Paulo, in Brazil, which is 17.3 million people. The largest country is Brazil, 3.2 million square miles. The longest river, the Amazon, a little over 4,000 miles long. And the primary language is Spanish. That is, except for the largest country in South America. The largest country in South America was explored by the Portuguese. Therefore, they don't speak Spanish in Brazil. They talk Portuguese. Religious affiliations, well, the continent is over 90% Roman Catholic. And that makes sense, since the Spaniards and the Portuguese, who were the explorers who explored the continent, brought Christianity with them. Remember the countries that are in South America: Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay. From the tropical climate of the north to the icy seas of the south, South America is home to many natural wonders, including the gigantic Amazon River and the surrounding rainforest. More than 1,000 tributaries flow into the Amazon River alone. It starts in Colombia and ends on the island of Tierra del Fuego, the very tip of South America. The rugged Andes Mountains run the entire length of the western coast of the continent. The famous Inca city of Machu Picchu was found high in those Andes in 1911. Today, most of the population is found in the crowded cities of the southeast. Argentina. The official name is Argentina República. Remember the capital city? Buenos Aires. Population almost 3 million. In the center, you will see a replica of the Argentina flag. Its location, it's in southern South America, and it borders the South Atlantic Ocean between Chile and Uruguay. The total area in kilometers, the land area in kilometers, it's slightly less than 3/10 the size of the United States. So if you were to divide the United States into 10 parts, Argentina would be approximately 3/10 of the size. And it has a coastline of 4,989 kilometers. Our next South American country, and I'm looking at these today in alphabetical order. The official name, the Republic of Bolivia. The capital city, La Paz. Has a population of about 713,000. Remember, Bolivia had two capitals. La Paz, the seat of government in a new modern city, and Sucre, which was the legal capital, the original capital, and the seat of the judiciary. And it's used predominantly for festivals and holidays. The population of Sucre is approximately 132,000. It is southwest of Brazil. If you were to compare in size, Bolivia is slightly less than 3 times the size of the state of Montana. Do many of you know where Montana is in the United States? It may not be a bad idea to take out a map of the United States someday and sort of compare these South American countries to our own United States. La República de Chile, Republic of Chile. Capital city, Santiago. Population of approximately 6 million people. It's located in southern South America, bordering the South Atlantic Ocean and South Pacific Ocean, between Argentina and Peru. If we wanted to compare it, it's approximately twice the size of Montana. It might be important to notice that this includes La Isla de Pascua, Easter Island, and La Isla Sala y Gómez. Republic of Colombia, capital city, Bogotá, population of about 4 million people. It's in northern South America, bordering the Caribbean Sea, between Panama and Venezuela, and bordering the North Pacific Ocean between Ecuador and Panama. Remember, Panama is in Central America. You could compare it to being slightly less than 3 times the size of Montana. This also includes La Isla de Malpelo, Roncador Cay, Sirena Bank, and Serranilla Bank. Republic of Ecuador. The capital, Quito. Little over 1,100,000 population. It's in western South America, bordering the Pacific Ocean at the equator between Colombia and Peru. Comparative area is slightly smaller than the state of Nevada. Now this includes the Galapagos Islands. Republic of Paraguay. Capital city, Asunción. Population, a little over 500,000. It's located in central South America, northeast of Argentina. You can compare it to being slightly smaller than the state of California. Republic of Peru. Capital city, Lima. Population, about 370,000 people. It's in the western South American continent, bordering the South Pacific Ocean between Chile and Ecuador. In comparative area, it is slightly smaller than the state of Alaska. Now remember, Alaska is the largest state in the United States. The Oriental Republic of Uruguay. Capital city, Montevideo. Population, about 1.251 million. It's in southern South America, bordering the South Atlantic Ocean between Argentina and Brazil. Comparative area, slightly smaller than Washington State in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Republic of Venezuela. Capital city, Caracas. Population, just a little under 2 million. Location is in northern South America, bordering the Caribbean Sea and the North Atlantic Ocean. And it's between Colombia and Guyana. Comparative size, slightly more than twice the size of California. The Andes Mountains. Now they're located in South America, in the countries of Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Argentina, and Chile. The Andes are the longest of all the mountain ranges. They are over 4,500 miles long, stretching along the entire west coast of South America, from Cape Horn at the very bottom to Panama at the very northern part of South America. You can find gold, silver, and copper, which are among the riches found in the mountain range. It is believed that the Andes Mountains were named Andes because the word Andes comes from Quechecan, or the native word anti, which means copper. There is much copper in the Andes Mountains, and it is one of the most valuable resources because it's relatively easy to mine. Now, many of the high mountains of the Andes are active volcanoes. Only some of them are still very active. Earthquakes are common in the Andes because of these active volcanoes. Many cities and towns have been wiped out or greatly damaged. People who live in towns or villages near these mountains, they have to be very aware of the mountain's moods. In Spanish, the Andes are called Cordillera de los Andes. Now this means the Andes mountain range. Aconcagua, located in the heart of the Argentine-Chilean Central Andes, is 22,834 feet and is the highest mountain in the world outside of Asia, making it also the highest point in the Western Hemisphere. A phenomenal mountain of rock and ice and gigantic faces, fitting its native Inca name well, Aconcagua, or Stone Sentinel. In addition to your regular homework this week, we want you to please study for the next unit test. Study Unidad 2, Lección 1, 2 y 3. Repaso del pretérito. Reviewing the preterite. To state events in the past which happened one time or just a few times. The preterite is often the equivalent of the ed ending in English. I walked home yesterday. We talked last night. Now, these events or actions have a specific beginning and ending point. These are often indicated by a word or expression which signals the time, the day, or the date when the action or the event happened. Some words that are often accompanying el pretérito: anoche, last night, anoche; ayer, yesterday; ayer, anteayer, day before yesterday; day before yesterday, anteayer; el año pasado, last year; el año pasado; la semana pasada, last week; la semana pasada. So we want you to make sure that as you study this unit, lessons 1, 2, and 3, that you be sure to review your regular AR, ER, and IR preterite verb endings. We want you to review your superlatives, the ísimo. Review comparisons, both equal and unequal. We want you to review the nationalities of the 20 Spanish-speaking countries. And we want you to review what we covered today. Today we explored el reporte del tiempo con importante vocabulario. Celsius versus Fahrenheit. Información sobre países de Sudamérica. Repaso del pretérito. Your homework, tarea, number 1, in your cuaderno, page 25, activity A. Remember, we not only want you to forecast the weather, but we want you to convert the Fahrenheit temperature to Celsius degrees. Homework number 2, also in your cuaderno, page 27, activity D, 1 through 5. Next time, test. On Unidad 2, Lección 1, 2, y 3. Facilitator, you will be asked to administer next time Examen Forma B, Unidad 2, Unit 2. We also want you to know, Facilitator, that we appreciate your hard work as you and I together work to make Spanish possible. So, until next class, remember, excellence in academics, excellence in behaviors. Oh, it makes for a terrific student. Muchas gracias. Adiós.